This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast. I am Tyler, one of your hosts, the Superman of Blue, the Man of Tomorrow. Not wearing my sweatshirt that says Man of Tomorrow on it today, just wearing straight up black Superman sweatshirt. And with me is that bearded wonder. He is back with his sack full of gifts and joy. Our own personal Santa, James Cole, the Superman of Red.
Yeah, not real Santa. Lobo killed him.
That's one of the best intros I've ever heard, man. Dude, I got Superman Red and Blue on this one, man. I listened to a bunch of back issues and stuff. You guys are great. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, it is. You. And if you're hearing this voice and you're like, wait, that voice sound familiar. I reached out after, having recorded and talked with, my friend Anthony was like, listening to his show. I was like, I got to get Justin DeVoe on here to talk about Lobo because he's the biggest Lobo fan I've heard. And, I've talked about how I'm not a Lobo fan, but I'm like, you know what? From somebody listening to him talk, I get his passion. And I asked him, I said, hey, would you want to come on and talk about Lobo? And he was like, yes. So, Justin, welcome to the show.
Actually, dude, honestly, I got it. And I was like, wait, like the Tyler from the Krypton Report? Because Anthony's always talking about it.
Look at this.
Like he's always talking about it. I was like, yeah. I was like, this is gonna be amazing, man. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So thank you very much. Yeah, man. I was very excited when you reached out. So I was like, yeah, this is great. And to your point, my passion for Superman, I always got Superman and action in my pull list, but I wasn't really a Superman guy per se. I just got it because it was Superman. After then listening to Anthony and you, and I was like, yo, there's a lot of really good stories out there. So I started to go through the back stuff. Now I'm like, I'm in. Now I get it. So believe me, I understand. Same wavelength.
There's certain characters I think, and my wife and I have had this conversation. James and I've had this conversation. People will be like, Superman's overpowered or blah 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 blah, and I'm like, yeah, but then you're not really getting the character, and you're not really seeing why I love the character.
Right.
Because the best thing about Superman is, yeah, he is that powerful, but what does he do with that power?
Yeah.
I saw someone make a post that said, the fantasy of Superman is not that he would have the power, it's what he chooses to do with the power. Right. And I'm like, and I think what would I do with these powers? And then I think, you know what, God? Why don't you test me? Go ahead, give me these powers. Let's see how I think I can handle it. Let's go.
Yeah, or the number one thing I can't stand is he's not relatable. I'm like, you don't have parents that you love and stuff. You've never had to protect someone in a fight before. You've never it just seems like that's the automatic, right? He's not relatable. Well, I love Batman. Don't even get me started about Bat Boys, man. Listen, I love Batman, the character, but oh my God. They're worse than Star Wars and Lord of the Rings people combined, man. They are, dude, they got no chill. At one point I saw it was a picture of Batman sitting on a throne and Thanos with the gauntlet was dead and Silver Surfer. It's with prep time. I'm like, God, you got to settle down with that prep time shit. That's a little too much.
I think that goes back to someone we had talked about before, a little Mr. Morrison we talked about with his Bat God and, the way that was written. But yeah, I've always related to Superman. I think part of it is growing up as a teenager watching Smallville and just that angle. Oh no, we lost James. He'll be back. He went to fight crime. And I think just having that show really helped.
Yeah.
And then it's the farm boy, good man person. Yeah, I don't relate to him because I can't bench press house.
Yeah.
But
Earth 3 times.
But Superman and Lois as a show I related to it being a father of 2, even though my kids are young. And just, dealing with that stuff. Yeah. Just save the family, James. You save everybody. They good?
All back.
Yeah, all good to go. That flashlight speed. I said the same thing to Anthony. I was like, I like Superman, man, but after I became a dad, and chilled out my older years. I was a very bad youth. right? And it was before the time of camera phones, so like we got into like fights and like went to hardcore shows and stuff like that. No one was recording it. So that actually makes sense for why Lobo became like an instant favorite, right? Like I grew up in a really violent household. My dad was a drunk and was really abusive. So I always gravitated toward the comic characters. I was like, well, he could kick my dad's ass. You know what I'm saying? Like I was going towards that. And then when 1990 dropped and I saw just that picture on the front of just Lobo's face biting on his lip, I was like, I got to check this out. And it was like ultra violence, man. It was like ultra violence. Like I was like, these guys went for it. And I was like, that guy could kick my dad's ass, right? Like it turned into that kind of stuff. And then the older I got, the more violent I got and the worse it got. And then when I became a dad, obviously, actually, no, as soon as I became a teacher, that chilled out a lot, right? Like I couldn't do stuff like that anymore. And then I became a dad and all of a sudden my favorites started to shift, right? Like Lobo was always a favorite, but now I'm like, you know what? Now I get Superman, right? Like now I get these other characters that are now protecting people as opposed to going out and starting fights on purpose and stuff like that. But that comic was like, and I saw it at a DC label and I was like, this guy can't, and I was like 10. I was like, this guy can't exist in like regular DC continuity. And speaking of it, I still kind of feel like that today, where as the new stuff with Scotty Young that's coming out, I hope it's more like he's not on Earth. Right, he's traversing, he's flicking dudes and like blowing out the back of their heads. Because when you put him here, you have to put some sort of restriction on him, right? But when he's out there, he's taking like bullets lodged in his face. The two versions of him between like being in regular DC continuity and out are very different, really, and have been very different since the beginning.
It makes me think a little bit of like Constantine and Hellblazer. Because like when they put him, when they put his book in continuity, it became Constantine, and then you have the Hellblazer comic, and I feel like I was sitting here as you were talking, I was sitting here thinking, what would, and I don't know if there's ever been one, I didn't see one, so please, I am not a Lobo aficionado, but like a Brian Azzarello Black Label Lobo story with the art by. I'm going to go to blank, James. James, help me.
What, Libra Mail?
Yes, thank you. What that would look like,
Yeah,
like,
that would be a sick looking book and probably really dark.
Because I feel like Justin was just saying, like you could have this character that pops in continuity, and then have him like this is like who he truly is. And you make it kind of like I could see the story being like Lobo narrating, and it's like that unreliable narrator where he's like, "Okay, this is how they've been depicting me.
Yeah.
Now I need to show you guys who the real main man is." Right. And like you're following as he's like going through his adventures. Like this is how I really take care of stuff.
Yeah, I kind of think that that's the route that Scotty Young is going to take, just based on him and the art style. The art style is very Keith Giffen. Right, it takes it back to like there's a lot going on, and it's like it takes him out. He was in Justice League International, and he's like kicked back and stuff. His hair's kind of normally. He's talking to Bruce and stuff like that. I'm like, stuff like that just doesn't make sense. Him coming to Earth and like just wiping the floor with Green Lanterns because Atrocitus told him to is like a distraction. I'm like, that makes more sense. Him popping in and popping out back out makes sense. Him being in DCKO makes sense. Otherwise, he should not be around all the time. It just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, but Lee Vermeil would do a great job. I think Ben Templesmith would do a great job. And all of our mutual friends, V. Ken Marion, he wants to do one. I had him do a mission for me, and he was like, he's really fun to draw. I'm like, yeah, man, like you get into that ultra blood, ultra violence, bigger, like, the larger in life build. It's got to be fun for an artist to take that on.
When you're new Lobo, I just want to clear up. Are you referencing the next level that they're talking about, or is that a different book? Yeah,
so the newest one that's coming out hasn't dropped yet. It's Scotty Young is doing I love Scotty Young, dude. That guy's awesome. I'm glad it's not Scotty Young, because his art's very specific. Art's very specific. But it's him, and I forgot who the artist was. His stuff looks really good, though. He's been doing a bunch of the DCKO covers, too. We did one.
Jorge Corona.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because I was looking at, I had here in my notes for news about the the next level books, Lobo, Deathstroke, Batwoman, Zatanna, and Firestorm.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, those could be really interesting stories.
Yeah. Lobo and Deathstrike sound very interesting.
Yeah. Now, I did.
And I hope they stick around. Like, I remember being upset about was when the new 52 showed up. They had a lot of really cool stuff. They had China Melville doing Dial H. Like, they had a lot of really cool stuff. And I guess when it didn't pick up, they're like, cancel it all. And then we got 17 more Batman books.
Yes.
As like we had all this. Like, let stuff go for. I mean, I guess they can't, right? It's a business. But like, quality stories were there. But because people didn't know that stuff, they're like, I don't want to read this. I'm like, why, man? The stories are quality. Like,
I feel like some of those titles, kind of like what they did with Shazam, where Shazam was like a backup in Justice League. And then once it got to the part where the two stories merged, it was its own book.
Yeah.
So like some of these books, like you were talking about, like the Dial H, if they would have done these backup stories and then eventually launched its book, you might have got more readers because you were introduced to these characters. And we'll talk about the New 52 because I did read a little bit of the New 52 Lobo because I remember everyone talking about the big controversy with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And so I did read some of that because I was like, what? But we'll start. So basically we'll go back to where the beginning. Lobo is an he was created by Roger, is it Silver? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, and Keith Giffen,
appearing in Omega Men #3, June of '83. He's an alien from the planet Zarnia and works as an interstellar mercenary and bounty hunter. Lobo.
I think when he first showed up, I think it's like Valporian was like the original race. Like, he wasn't Zarnian at first. It was called something else. And he looked like Sherbert. Yeah, like,
I think it was Valorpian, and because I hadn't actually read any of the Omega Men stuff. Only read anything of him post Crisis.
Yeah,
and so that's actually kind of what I went back to start reading before we got on here, for the most part. But yeah, Valorpian, and as opposed to Zarnians, who were incredibly peaceful, they were violent and warring because of overpopulation.
Yeah. Actually, it's weird. In the original run, they have like these little like side things, right? And he tells the story about how the only way Zarnians died, they were completely peaceful and it was a utopia. The only way they died is when they wanted to. So in the beginning, at least, they were all immortal. Like, they only died when they wanted to because they got bored. They knew nothing of war. They knew nothing of any of that stuff. Then out comes Lobo, right? Like the demon child, the one that devours your entrails and thoroughly enjoys it, right? Like, that's what his name is. Obviously, the backstory is he kills his entire race with a science project, except for Professor Trib, who in that first miniseries, he's tasked by Real Docs to go get her. He doesn't know that yet. And then when they did the Brainiac story, Joshua Williamson was like, no, General Trib was a general. And she had moved all of these really violent versions to this other place. And they all had kind of the same facial markings, which I had talked to Ken Rockefort, because Ken Rockefort was the one that they tasked to draw the New 52 Lobo, like the sleek Twilight-looking guy. And he's like, dude, that wasn't my call. He's like, I had 4 or 5 different versions, and they said no to all of them. Like, one had spikes in his head. Like, he drew the very, like, and they're like, no, streamline it more. And he's like, that's the one they ended up with. I'm like, that's what they landed on? Like, he's drinking out of martini glasses and shit. I'm like, what the hell is it? Like, that's a big leap.
We'll get there. I don't want to jump to it but I do because I have thoughts, because it was very, very stark. But what's interesting is Lobo was as it was quoted, I've heard it said, was written as an attempt to parody the ultra-violent, gritty superhero stories, but instead became like this huge fan favorite.
Yeah, he was a Wolverine parody, basically.
Yes.
Not the first one where he looked like a creamsicle, not that one. But in the other one, when Biz took it over, he was like, because Biz is a biker, So he had on like the leathers and he had on like the Iron Cross and stuff like that. So he totally revamped the whole thing. And it was like, well, this is our parody of Wolverine. So it started off as just a 4-issue joke. And then it blew up. And everyone's like, we want more of him. So then you got the paramilitary special where he takes on Santa Claus. You had Infanticide. You had Un-American Gladiators. Like, but they were all these short series. And then there was like a volume 2 that actually went to like issue 58 or beyond or whatever. But yeah, it started as a joke. And then people were like, we love him. And he's like, all right, I guess we'll keep doing it then.
Which is so weird when they make characters that just take off and you're like, okay. But like Lobo's never had a really long running series.
So the one, I think
Has
volume 3, well, all right. So in issue 58, he stomps Dog to death. So it went beyond 50. I don't think it got to like 70 or whatever. Like I have something called the Fragpendium. It was written by James Azrael. The dude is in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most Lobo memorabilia. And we're not just talking about toys. He's got splash pages. Like, he is the Lobo guy. Like, that guy is, and he's the nicest dude in the world. He's got it all laid out in his book. And I know recently DC came out with like volume 1 of like a bunch of the stuff. The second or third volume ran pretty long. I don't know what issue it ran to, but it ran pretty long.
I think for me, like, okay, we talked about how people have the argument of Superman's too powerful.
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like Lobo is too powerful.
Oh God, yeah. Especially when he's kicked out of heaven and hell and then made him immortal. Like, dude, that dude can regenerate from a drop of blood. And he can smell you across galaxies. Like, they made him like that.
The question that I had about that, and James and I were talking about this. All right. If I were to take and I were to chop Lobo in half, okay, which half regenerates, or does he make 2 Lobos?
So Deadpool was made as like obviously Lobo came first, Deadpool came afterwards, and there's supposedly a link between the two. There's one run in Deadpool where he does lose a bunch of parts, and those parts become another Deadpool. So it's something I haven't done before. I imagine it just becomes another one.
And see, and that's my thought is like, I get if he gets his hand cut off, like he'd regrow a hand. But that hand that fell, couldn't that grow a whole nother Lobo? Like,
yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Yeah. Except I think there was a curse where he couldn't make more. I think that was in one of like the mini runs or whatever, where he was like cursed, like, or no, actually he didn't want to make more. That's why he started offing all of his kids in infanticide. He's like, no, there's only going to be one, and it's only me, which made no sense when like General Chakal showed up, and he's like, by the way, there was this whole other planet that you didn't know about where all these warlike, soldiers of Zarnia came up, and I was like, what? Like, where did that? Like, how did that become a thing? But
didn't they destroy that in that story? Like, it's all gone. He's the last one now again.
Yeah, the Brainiac Queen. They were used to like feed the Brainiac Queen because they didn't die. So like that was the put off on that. But then it's like Lobo wasn't. It was weird. Like in the beginning, he was super popular, but never had a sustained book. And when I go dressed up to Comic-Cons as Lobo, people act like they've never seen one ever before, and I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 out there, like at conventions. So he was popular, but I think he took a nosedive for quite a bit. And now that Jason Momoa is playing him, all of a sudden, the Lobo search is like number 1, which is great. Like, I think it's awesome. But he wasn't popular enough, I guess, to keep his history the same, because when Joshua Williamson came in, he changed a lot of stuff. And people didn't really complain. I just wanted to see him in more comics. So, like, I wasn't really too bent out of shape about it.
What did he all change? Because, like I said, I don't know that much, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I just know he's, like, supposed to be the last, because I will say that I was a little under... I thought that Brainiac had a bottle city of Zarnia was an awesome idea.
Yeah.
And I just wish it had almost been something at the end of House of Brainiac that were teased, and then it became its whole storyline. I wish it hadn't been in the House of Brainiac, because I felt like they tried to do too much. and didn't really flesh out the Zarnians the way I think it would have been. But what had Joshua Williamson changed?
So originally, he killed off his entire planet with like a flying scorpion race of just like this locust swarm that came over and killed everybody. He didn't want any more. He was like, I'm the only one. And then he goes on a rampage, kills all his like half bastard children. But like his whole thing was like, there can't be any more. And then Crush showed up, and all of a sudden he like wanted to become a dad. And the thing is like everyone's changed it. Like everyone except for like Biz and Keith, like they all changed a lot. Where like now he's caring. And at first, like you couldn't control him because he's got a chip in his head that plays really loud music all the time. So you can't even mind control the dude. And when in House of Brainiac, he's like, "Oh, I finally found my family." I was like, "What?" Like this dude he wasn't like jet setting around looking for a bunch of Zarnians, dude. He was offing them all. So when he turned on Superman because he found a family, I was like, "What? Wait a minute!" Like I was pretty miffed about the whole thing. And like afterwards, I just let it go. So it was cool to see Lobo back in books. But I was like, "Damn, you just erased a whole bunch of shit and just like let it rock." And everyone's like, "It's fine," because again, the fan base is there, but it's not like, if you change, if all of a sudden you find out that Batman shot somebody and people go up in arms. With Lobo, it's really not like that. We're kind of all pretty mellow. Like kind of all pretty mellow because we just want to see him in books more.
Because of his attitude that they have to do something to make it, because I mean he definitely can come in and be your antagonist and do like a short book or something, but do you think they try to do something so they can give him something to do and really build stories around him and give him stakes and give him personality to be more of an enjoyable character to read? And maybe that's why he hasn't had like these long ongoing series as much.
Well, now he can die thanks to DCKO, which I thought was brilliantly done. So the fight with him and Wonder Woman opens up with the Almighty, right? So God, right? And he's watching TV and he's flipping through the channels and he ends up on the fight between Lobo and Wonder Woman. And Lobo's like, "You can't kill me anyway," because at that point he was technically immortal. Besides the fact that he can regenerate, he was kicked out of both heaven and hell, so he can't die. And he was talking a bunch of shit about it. So the Almighty basically shows up to the fight and turns that off. So now at least there are stakes because now can he still regenerate? Yeah. Are they going to make him die? Probably not. But like now at least the stake is there of like, yeah, they can kill him because he's no longer immortal anymore.
Yeah, and Superman's overpowered. Sure.
Well, Lobo, he always had a code like, he never killed unless he was paid to kill. Yeah. And the only other time he killed people is if they didn't pay him.
Yeah. And or he'd carry out his mission, and then like with Miss Tribb, he blew her head off afterwards. Like he's like, "No, bro, like I promised you I'd drop her off. I didn't say I wouldn't kill her afterwards." Like his one thing is if he gets paid to do a job, he sees the job all the way through. In recent continuity, he's went against that like 3 times recently. Like he takes on Superman and then he changes his mind. When in American, what was it, American Alien, or he's like he's on a mission to kill Superman and then changes his mind. In Injustice, he gets shown up to kill Superman and he's like, he flies him into the sun by like holding his jacket. And Lobo's like, "Oh my God, stop. You want me to kill anybody for you?" I'm like, "Yo, can anybody keep this guy on like a single track of like what is important to him?" But like you said, they just keep changing stuff. Because at first point, Hal Jordan's like, I think Star Sapphire's like, "Who is that guy?" Because he comes down, he's beating up all the Green Lanterns. And he's like, "That's Lobo. He's the only guy I ever knew would give Superman a bloody nose." So it was always like his power set or strength set was on par with or more than Superman, which that's like the high water mark, right? It's kind of like when you want someone to be the strongest person in Marvel, you stick the Hulk on him. And then the Hulk continuously gets his ass kicked because you have to show that someone is stronger than Hulk. So instead of being like the person that no one can beat, he ends up being the person that everyone beats up because he's the strongest one. And Superman kind of goes through the same thing too.
He does.
Yeah, Superman just gets the Superman gets the excuse of he can take the hits so that nobody else has to. So he's got that altruistic side to it.
yeah. But I mean, he's super overpowered. But like I said, when he's in continuity, I don't like it. I like when he bombs in for a little bit, pieces out, and then goes to wreak havoc in the galaxy. Because if he's out there doing that stuff, you're like, all right, I get it. But if you have him here and you have him on a constant in a book all the time, now you got to change. Now you got to start dropping stuff down. Now he can't be like that anymore, or else he does. He throws off the balance of every book he's in, and not like in a Superman way, right? Like when I forgot, like Action, he was in a part of like a contest, and they dropped this giant ship on Metropolis, and everyone's like, Superman, you're not going to be able to do it, and Superman does it, and we love it. Like we cheer for it. We're like, hey, he could do the impossible. If Lobo's around all the time, it's just going to ruin that. Because he's going to get stymied. Like someone's going to stymie him. Like it's just the way it is. So I'm hoping that this new series takes him far away and kind of keeps him far away.
I think I've said this for a while that I think a really great series would have been Power Girl and Connor Kent, with the way that like they're both kind of these I don't know where I belong characters, and I was like, I would have loved to see them as like traveling the galaxy.
Sure.
And I was like, that would be an interesting pair to run into Lobo and have some like adventures and have him like pop up and be there, because it's not Superman. So you could kind of play with
that's
it more.
The role he was supposed to play in Woman of Tomorrow. And then they axed that. Like they took him out of the story completely. It was supposed to be, I think, a little three-way joint, like him, Ruthie, and Supergirl. And then the editors were like, we don't want him in there. We want it just to be Supergirl and the girl. So when it was like picked up afterwards, he was like, he was supposed to be in the book originally. He's like, but he was told not to. It just wouldn't make any sense. Now when you throw him in the movie, I'm like, great. Now you can kind of play a little bit of that off.
I mean, it makes sense in the movie. I could almost see there is I can't remember the name of it, and I have it, and I got to dig it out. It's a Two-Face Harvey Dent book, and it's a really unique book to read when you read The Long Halloween, because let's say what's going on over here in The Long Halloween, well, the panel lines up in this Two-Face book of what happened the beat after when in The Long Halloween you switch to a different character. So it's like the story in between of what happened.
That's cool.
That you didn't see. And I'm like, you could almost do something like that, goofy, with this is what Lobo was up to during or should have been part of.
Yeah.
But I want to hit on something real quick, because you're talking about comics and running, and we were talking about this a little bit. When they did do the New 52, and this was a big, crazy thing, was they completely reinvented Lobo.
Yeah.
And when I mean they reinvented him, they did this thing that...
He's a twin.
Even as a shock to me, is what we have the opening of this Lobo book, and we see the body of Lobo, but then when we pan out, so to speak, there is a small, tiny, fit guy holding the head of the regular Lobo and saying, this guy's been using my name, and I'm back to take it. And I think that was a big FU to the fans of Lobo.
It was. Now, unfortunately, though, because the fan base dwindled for a while, like, true fans are going to stick around. Stuff like our old stories are over there. But, like, I don't remember anyone complain. Like, I heard complaints, but it wasn't like, change it back. Like, no one was writing petitions and shit. Like, they was just like, all right. Like, yeah, we were all upset, but there wasn't a big stink as in it happened to somebody else, right? Like, if you think about the people that they don't want to change, they don't get changed. They might alter some stuff, but their stuff stays the same. Lobo, for me, I was explaining this to Anthony, he's always kind of like the one that everyone loves to see in books. But then if people change them, they go, eh. Like, I hated the New 52 Lobo. I thought it was terrible, because you're taking the one that we all knew and being like, oh, he was a clone? And he just got axed off panel, by the way. He get axed off panel by this dude, is martini drinking, like 106 pounds soaking wet dude with like laser guns. I was like, what? You're just gonna do that? But that's That's what they were going for. I don't know why, but I don't know. I thought they thought that was going to
revolutionize, or stir controversy. Now,
but I love it because he got his ass kicked all over the place. He met up with Supergirl. Supergirl punched him off the planet. He got put in a jar and got picked up by the real Lobo because they were fighting in space. And he's about to break that open. I think it was like Guy Gardner. He's like, no, leave that one alone. Don't even open that one. So they clowned him a lot afterwards, but they were clowning him in his own book. So I don't know how long they thought that was going to run for.
I will say this. If you were to just take out the word Lobo throughout the whole book and just read it, it was, and I think if they would have made this like, let's say Lobo of Earth 2, fitting the New 52 to where you're like, oh, okay, this is a different Earth Lobo, conceived a little bit different, and then you had a story where the Earth 1 and the Earth 2 Lobo meet, and they're just how they. But just trying to erase everything the character was.
Yeah. And then or make it one of his kids. But then you run the same story you did with Sue Lemon in Infanticide, right? Like he's going around, he's killing all his bastard kids, right? Like they make this like Legion of Doom and they try to go after him for it. And he's like shooting ships out of space and stuff. But if you do that, then you're running pretty much the same storyline. It's just now instead of a girl, it's a guy. So it's just like, I don't know what they were trying to do. And like I said, Ken Rocafort was like, dude, all I did was draw the concept art. And they kept telling me, make him more streamlined, make him more modern, make him more streamlined, make him more modern. And he ended up in like a black and blue leotard with like perfectly coiffed hair and stuff. I was like, I don't know what they were going for, but it didn't last. So
it almost feels like he eventually drew it as like I'm drawing this because it's so stupid they'll never do this. And then they were like, yes.
That's what we want. We want CW Lobo.
Yeah, I mean, basically. Yeah.
That's right, man. CW Lobo looking pretty. It's him and the Twilight vampires all up in the same book and shit.
That's basically, yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about Lobo in appearances because I feel like this is where I think he's generated his most notoriety. This is where I officially was introduced to the characters when he made his appearance on Superman the Animated Series, voiced by Brad Garrett.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of that Lobo, like in that context?
I love the animated stuff, man. I love it. Like, so I talk with Anthony about this stuff all the time. I love everything. Like, except for the Flashpoint movie, right? Like, but even then, I'm like, all right, I could find a little bit of stuff in there. When he showed, but again, because it happens so infrequently, hopefully it happens more now that he's going to be in the movie. When he shows up in anything, I get excited. Especially the cartoon version. The cartoon version is dope. He's built like an upside down Dorito and shit. Like, he's all big. He's got like these little legs. Like, it's just cool to see him pop up because when he pops up, he generally has his thing. He's there searching for somebody. He got paid to take somebody out. So when I see him show up and stuff like that, I'm like, this is really cool, man. Like, I like to see him in anything. He showed up in the Injustice game, and that's kind of the first time where instead of the facial, because I was talking to Biz, and he was like, those are basically Zarnian facial Moko, right? Like, they're born with them. They have them. That's why when General Shakal and crew showed up with the same ones, I'm like, even that's different. Like, when Lobo has a bunch of kids, they all have them in different places. It's like a birthmark. And he had, like, the one kid, like, it wasn't a mustache. He has it here. But when he showed up in Injustice, it became a beard. Like, you never even saw that again. I was like, I kind of like that look. And that's what I modeled the cosplay off of. Because I tried with just this. And, dude, it made me weird. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't have the face for that shit.
We're going to bring up your cosplay here in a little bit. So that was the first big introduction. He's popped in here and there with like appearing in the Flash animated web series. He appeared in Legion of Superheroes.
Played by the same guy who played Jim Corrigan.
Yeah. And then that's the big one. His first live action appearance was in the TV show Krypton.
Yeah. Hey, that guy did a good job. I like the way he looked. It was like, he's too skinny. I was like, guy, he's not, like, you can't get like an Ed McGuinness body in real life. You can do all the steroids you want. You ain't going to look like that. So it's just like you have to, like, yes, you can make someone work out, but you're never going to get that. That's not going to be a thing unless you want a CGI Lobo, which then is just going to be stupid. So people are like, he's too skinny. I was like, all right, well, go find a pro bodybuilder. Like, what do you want from that? Like, one that acts, by the way. You know?
And then there's
you're not gonna get the good actor professional bodybuilder.
That's when you have to.
Great. I think the guy. So there's a YouTube video movie that came out a while ago where where they did a live action paramilitary special with Lobo fighting Santa Claus. The guy who played him in that is extraordinary. That it's like a 15-20 minute web movie. It is so good, dude. He takes the money from the Easter Bunny and the whole thing. That dude looked great. That was like one of the best ones I ever saw because, again, not really hard to do, right? You put the black on, you give him a wig, you make him white, you got him. There's not really much you can do to alter that. And as long as you put him in leather or something, you're pretty good. Give him a chain and you're good to go. Yeah, but that dude did a great job. If you haven't seen it yet, you got to look it up, dude. It's fantastic.
I'm going to look that up. But I liked Lobo. And I think Lobo's character, like James and I talked about this because we recently watched Man of Tomorrow, the animated film, and we talked about the idea that you have these three characters, Superman, Martian Manhunter, and Lobo, each supposed to represent the last of their race.
Yep. 3 orphans. And
how, James, you're muted, buddy.
I'm talking to Alora.
Oh, okay. So in Krypton, I think he worked very well, and I liked that he came because I think he works well against a super family member, much like how he's going to be in the film. And I wanted to I will rewatch some of the Krypton season 2 this year as we get closer to the film, just kind of, getting back into Lobo. But I find it very interesting that Lobo has been a character that they've been trying to get a movie off the ground
for a while,
for a long time. And I think that what I found in my research was like the first announcement was September 2009.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers had announced Guy Ritchie would direct a Lobo movie.
Which, I'm sorry, awesome. Like that's the dude that you want him to do it. Like the fast talking stuff. I like Guy Ritchie anyway. Like I liked his King Arthur movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a cool take on the character. But of course, people are gonna and they're gonna shit on stuff no matter what. But I thought Guy Ritchie would be great for that, man. I thought he'd make a good one.
You know who else I would think make a good one in that same vein is Matthew Vaughn. Because he came from like Guy Ritchie's grouping of friends and everything, and Vaughn made the Kick-Ass movies and everything. I think he has that ultra violent sense, But it's interesting.
If he made it in 2009, you'd get kind of the equivalent of the first Spawn movie that came out. You'd be like, I don't know, this is a little like I'm glad it fell through as many times as it did, because now you got the guy who was born to play him. Like it's like talk about a perfect casting, dude. You don't have to do anything to that guy. You spray paint him white. He's got the attitude and everything. My thing is, I don't even like the fact that he was used for Aquaman. I think you should have got like an Anthony Starr, like in like the cute hair, and stuff like that. You give him that guy, but at that point, Jason Momoa was everywhere. So they're like, let's go for the sexy fish man appeal, and he was just Lobo in the water.
See,
Love dolphins the same way. It was pretty much it. Like it was the same character.
My thing was Zack Snyder's Justice League. The Aquaman in that's portrayed a little bit different. And then you watch Aquaman the movie, and they're doing this basically role reversal. And beautiful is Orm.
Yeah.
Who you could see Patrick Wilson being Aquaman, like traditional.
My God. Definitely.
And you have Jason Momoa and they're going a different way. But that's in Aquaman the movie is when they're like letting Momoa start to insert his personality into it more. And then you get to Aquaman 2, and it's just him being him.
Yeah.
But so you look at Aquaman 2 and then look at Zack Snyder's Justice League Aquaman. There's differences in there. Like, you have Snyder, who has a little bit more of the character idea dialed in with a little bit of like letting Momoa do his thing.
Yeah.
And then you get to Aquaman 2 and it's just Jason being Jason.
Yeah.
Now, I have a funny story about Jason Momoa. So I've met him twice.
Did you really?
Yeah, I got my picture with him.
Dude.
Yeah, he was cool.
Oh, awesome. I love hearing that, man.
Because the first time I met him, like, he's wearing these thick biker boot shoes where, like, so I'm 6'3", okay?
Yeah.
And he's wearing these shoes that gives him an extra 2 inches. Right. So in the picture with him, he looks like he's big and taller than me and everything. But what's funny is we're walking around the con, and we're going to get our picture taken with him a little bit later. And I'm coming around, I tell my wife, like, I got to go to the bathroom. So I'm heading to the bathroom, and then he comes out of his area, and he's starting to walk to the bathroom. And he starts to go, and I'm like, okay, I'm not following Jason Momoa into the bathroom. I'm like, that would, because I'm like, you don't, I'm not going to, like, because as much as I want to be like, hey, man, or hi, or whatever, like,
I'll do it right in the urinal, be like, hey, man.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to give the man, his speed. And, like, I kind of wait out, and my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm waiting. She's like, what? I'm like, Momoa just walked in, and I just don't want to be that weird person that follows him into the bathroom and then starts trying to have a conversation with him. Like, the bathrooms are the greatest place to meet people, but like I came out of the bathroom.
Like, absolutely not. That's what they don't want. You stand next to Jason Momoa at the urinal. You don't say a damn word.
Right. and then
revealed in the bathroom. You ain't going anywhere. You might as well have a conversation.
So then a few years later, when I met him the first time was right. It was before BVS came out. He had been announced and they had talked about it and everything. So I think it was like, yeah, Salo hadn't been born yet, but Solomon was still a baby. So it was like it was late 2015. Then we met him, I want to say around 2018, I think was the next time. I don't know, it all blurs after a while. And he's wearing regular shoes. Like the first time's like very much that biker Momoa. This time he's wearing like a sweater. He's got like I can't remember exactly what the type of hat is.
Bowler hat, right? It's like a tall.
It's like I'll send you. I'll take a picture of the picture and send it to you. But it's just like a Peaky Blinders looking hat. I guess it's my best, like flat cap.
Yeah.
He's wearing regular shoes, and like his height is like right with me. I'm like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Not you and your thick boots, man.
Your platforms.
I'm like,
actually, I want to shout out.
That's funny.
Anthony Desiato real quick over at Digging for Kryptonite. He said that he finds out all this industry stuff. He said apparently while shooting Justice League, everyone was asking like Momoa, he's like, do you like it? And he would repeatedly say, while I'm that, I'd rather be playing Lobo. Now, I don't know if that's true, or I don't know if it's like The Rock being like, I've always wanted to be, Black Adam. It's like, where in your Instagram history have you ever posted anything about, but, that's a completely different thing. But from him, I expect it because he's talked about the character before.
Yeah.
And it was just like, yeah, you're meant to play him, man. Oh, but look, I'm glad he's a good dude. I was so excited because the last year for New York, I always play him at least once. I'll switch. But Friday, Saturday is always my Lobo day. And I'm like, he was just announced in Supergirl. He's going to be there. I got to get I have to get my picture taken with that dude. And he didn't show up. Hopefully, like now that'll be afterwards, he'll go.
Yeah.
Which means another year, I got to get back in shape after lifting a bunch of weight and eating like shit. So, but I mean, like that's the picture. Like at that point, I'm good.
Yeah. Well,
speaking
of your cosplay, you said you're a fan earlier. Like when Tyler told me you were coming on here, I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I'm a fan of your cosplay.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm a gym goer myself. So, when you post your lifting videos too, it's like, good shit.
Yeah, it's a labor. It's a labor. But I actually, so to just veer into that real quick, the reason why, I'm coming up almost like 7 years sober, man. Shit, that happened.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. Hey.
So years ago, things got really dark, suicidal dark and stuff like that. Like I was drinking a gallon of vodka every 2 days for 2.5 weeks on a clip and taking a handful of benzos. That should have killed me. And like, I don't know what's out there. I don't know if it's got, like, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm agnostic, right? Like, I believe there's something out there. I just don't know what it is. There's no reason why I should be here right now. Not with what I was doing to my body, and not mixing those two things. Like, you mix those two things, you're pretty much punching your ticket. And my antidepressants weren't working because I was drinking. I ruined my marriage with drinking, and I had convinced myself, and I've told this story before, I convinced myself, I was like, my son would be better off being raised by somebody else. So I would go to work during the day. I would be drinking at work. Like, and everybody knows it and stuff like that. Like, well, I would drink before work. And I would leave, and I would just, every day, I'd be like, maybe today's my day. Like, I just don't want to be here anymore. Like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And then finally I was talking to my friend, and she was like, I'm going to call Sunrise House, and we're going to get you in. Now, I was drunk when she told me, so I was like, do it, I'll do it. Like, and then, the day after, I woke up, and I got a phone call. He's like, hey, man, this is Mike. And I was like, Mike who, man? What are you talking about? He's like, Mike from Sunrise. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, I blacked out completely. And he's like, oh, you're prompted to come in on Monday to receive 30 days of alcohol treatment. I was like, what? When did we make this plan? Meanwhile, I'm like pouring another one and stuff. I'm like, no, that's a cool idea. So finally, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. I got there the day after and blew double the legal limit. And that was after sleeping. So I must have went in there, like, I was 0.07 or whatever. I was like a 0.1 something. And that was after sleeping for like 9 hours. So, but at that point I was used to it, man. Like, you drink a lot, you build up tolerance. You build up tolerance for everything. So I got in there, and I go upstairs. They put you in detox first. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I'm like, 30 days? 30 days? So like, I went in there, I'm cracking jokes with everybody, and I sit in this kitchen, and this woman, Diane, who became my mom, she became my rehab mom. She comes in, she's like, are you okay? And I lost it. Started crying. Like, I guess it waited for that long. And I started talking about it, and then I would go to meetings, and then I would like share in them, and then I would like lead meetings and stuff like that. I'm like, man, like, this is really good. Like, I feel great. So 27 days in, I got the original COVID, like the OG version. All I wanted was my 30-day coin, man, and to like restart my life. And then I get COVID while I'm in there. So 27 days, they send me out. They send me to the hospital. And he's like, you got it. And I said, all right, which room is mine? I'm staying here, right? They're like, nah, can you breathe? I said, yeah. He's like, you can't stay here. This place is only for people who like need to be intubated. He's like, trust me, you don't want to be. So I was like, I got to go home? Like, by myself? And he's like, yeah, man, we can't keep you. So they sent me home, and I find out at rehab my drinking triggers are isolation, depression, and anxiety. Now I'm home, I'm isolated, I'm depressed, and I'm anxious, and the only stores open are liquor stores because they're considered essential businesses. Because if you DT on alcohol, you could die, so they have to stay open. So afterwards, after like 58 days, I could finally hold my son because I got better, and I'm like, yo, this is it. Like, I'm here for a reason. So I was like, how do I get in shape? Because the mind was right. I got to get the body right. And I always wanted to cosplay Lobo. Always. Oh, before anything else. And I was like, okay, that's going to be what keeps me at the gym, right? That's my why for the gym. I'm going to go, and I'm going to be ready by the time Comic-Con comes around. I'm going to bust my ass. Like, I busted my ass spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Now it's time to get the body right. And every day I didn't want to go, I went because that was going to be the goal. And when in 2017, I was thin too. Looked like I wasn't as big as I wanted to be, but I'm like, I'm going to go. And it was the perfect payoff, man. It was perfect payoff. Like, I became a better dad, became a better person, got everything right, got my mind right. So walking in there and hearing this for the first time, my God, is that Lobo? I was like, he's talking to me. I got all excited and stuff. And now that becomes my celebration every year that I'm sober another year. I'm better another year, and I'm staying in shape. So that became like the thing. And it was always about Lobo. Like, that was always the plan. So it wasn't like, I'm going to get in shape and cosplay. I wonder what it's going to be. Lobo became like and it's weird, right? Because he drinks and stuff like that. But I was like, that's going to be the reason why I stay in shape. I want to go do this, and I want to get better and do it every year. So that's the reason why I stayed in shape. Like, people ask me all the time at the gym, they're like, you compete? I was like, no, I'm a cosplayer. And they're like, what? I'm like, I don't get in shape to go to the beach, man. Like, I'm I don't care what my abs look like on the beach. I'm like, I look good by October because that's Comic-Con season. Yeah, so like that is the whole reason why now when I do it, it's more than just the character. It's more than just, it's like, I made it, man. You know, I continue to do it, and I'm here every year, and I'm staying in shape every year, and me and my wife just bought a house. We're looking to have another kid. I couldn't have did any of that without A, getting right, and B, having this one goal, man. And people are like, oh, that's like, you know, people talk shit or whatever. I'm like, yo, I don't care why you become a better person. Your why can be anything. I don't care what it is. Mine is to be a better person in general, but also to stay in shape because I want to do this cosplay, man. Like, this is the one I want to be known for. And it's worked out pretty well since
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think so. That's awesome. That's a great story, though.
Do you know how many times I've motivated myself to get up out of bed in the morning to go to work, knowing that on my way to work, I get to stop at the gas station and get a fountain cherry Coke? That's the reason I get out of bed. Like, okay, that sounds good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So don't tell me about what motivates people.
Wait a minute. Tyler, me and you must be separated apart. Sarah can't get up in the morning. You know what she has to do? She makes these protein muffins. She brings them upstairs. She puts down the Bang energy drink, and she's like, "You got muffins?" I pop right out of bed. I'm like, muffins, like that's how you get my ass up in the morning. Like again, any port in a storm, right? Like, yeah. Some people are like, I got to make a list. I got to do that. And you get people online talking shit like, that doesn't work. Bitch, that might not work for you. Yeah. But don't yup someone else's yum. Whatever is getting them through the day, man. Let them get through the day. Like, you don't have to be that person. You know what I'm saying? You can just let people like what they like, and you can go about your day. I go about mine, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Consistency is about lifestyle. What makes it not hard for you to be consistent? Whatever the reason is that makes consistency easy, that's the way to go about it. It doesn't matter what that is.
That's it, man. That's it. It doesn't matter what it is. It
could be like, have to get. All right, you guys got me. I have to get. So I was going to the gym pretty consistent for a little while, and then I got hurt. And I just stopped, and I just kind of haven't been back because I've been busy and also lazy. And you guys have both just motivated me to go back.
So. Get it, man. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. Right. Yeah.
Because I just my thing was I just got I hurt my back years ago in a car wreck and it just was giving me fits, and then when that happened I was like, yep, I'm done. Yep. So I'm trying to find something here, but
it's when I talk to Anthony all the time. Like, he sent me a message, I don't know, like a year ago. He was like, I just have to let you know I was gonna skip the gym. And then I was watching BVS and I was watching Ben Affleck's montage, and he's like, I gotta go to the gym now. I was like, you can't watch that montage and not want to go to the gym, man. You want to pull a tire and shit. Like, I'm going in after watching that one.
Yeah, you're just like, dang. Like, I'm trying to see if I can find this picture to show you, but your Lobo cosplay is amazing because I was looking at some pictures of it, and I'd seen it before, but I was like, I wanted to revisit it, but for this and everything. And I was like, dang, it is so good. And what's interesting, I want to bring this up, is I was pulling Lobo stuff. Lobo's always wearing like jeans, like blue jeans. And it looks like the Momoa version, he's wearing like more like biker black leather.
Yeah, he's got like a sleeveless duster. It's like a black, right? Like that's what I said. I was like, he's got like a black duster on, and I didn't see the back, but the back of the sweatshirt that I got from the DC store says like, feared and fearless or something. It says Lobo on the butt. So like, I don't know if it's gonna have like a biker patch on the back, but he went full black leather for this.
And like the one picture they released like that said like the Lobo pose or whatever. I was like, he looks kind of like the lost member of Kiss. I was like, because the way they had it, I was like,
a lot of leather
with the black leather. They do have the metal knee pads and the big boots and shin guards or whatever that he's got going on.
Yeah, it's great. Like, and it's weird because people say that to me all the time. They're like, we like that you went comic book, like you went with denim. I was like, yo, the first time I saw the back of that Lobo's back thing painted by Biz, and it was the back patch, I was like, how do you not, like, that is the look? Because people ask me all the time, they're like, are you going to do a movie Lobo? I'm like, no. Like, I want to do that one. Like, I'm not saying, like, look, a lot of them are going to start showing up. I like the comic book ones. I like the little, like, at one point on the chain, I had all the lantern rings on them. I used to carry around like a Batman cowl and like a ripped up Superman cape. I like adding stuff to it, but I have no urge whatsoever to do a movie Lobo. I just don't. I like the denim one. I like the way that looks. I like the comic book version.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, especially since more are gonna pop up, especially looking like the movie.
Yeah, but, it's like you got to be the OG. You got to show the people.
It is let me tell you, it's a process. That is white spray paint alcohol based makeup. I'm heavily tattooed. I need to do 5 layers of that to get rid of everything, and I look like a white sheet of paper. Then I have like a team of like 3 of my friends, my wife being one of them, and my 2 other my 2 other friends who are girls. They then do like trace the muscle definition, because if you don't, you're not going to see it. It's going to be washed out. It's
completely washed out. Yeah.
But then every night I shower, do full shower, scrub, everything. That does not come off. You have to get cotton balls and 90% rubbing alcohol, and we sit there like 4 of us just. That's how you got to take it off, dude. I'm still finding it in like January. I'm like, I freak out because I can't reach it. Yeah, but once it's on, it is on. And people are like, oh, don't you want to cosplay something else? I'm like, yeah, if it's white, like I'll do Bizarro, I'll gore the God Butcher. But
there you go.
I put together like a $20 Kratos costume the one time, because once that shit goes on, it's not coming off. I'm not doing that. I just got the picture.
I'm sending you the cover art for this.
So I did
episode.
see the. I have watched the Lobo Paramilitary Christmas special on YouTube. I have seen that in the past, and I was pretty sure. It took me a second to look it up. The guy who plays Lobo, Andrew Bryanarski, he's Zangief from Street Fighter. He's Chip from Batman Returns.
Oh, seriously?
Oh,
yeah, he's Lobo in that. Yeah, he's Lobo in that.
Well, that makes it okay. We
awesome.
I watched Batman Returns with my kids again this Christmas, and I tell my kids about how like there's some movies that have lines in them that we made fun of when we were kids, and the one that like in that movie I always make fun of is the "Dad go save yourself, Dad go," right? So then my son will just randomly be like, "Dad go," like he blends it, like he'll just randomly say it to me. He'll be like,
"It's amazing,
Dad go," and I'm like, and I just started laughing. I found that while we were talking. I saved it to watch later on YouTube. I think you're just going back real quick to the Supergirl movie, right? I think Lobo is the natural character to put in that movie where you don't feel like you're forcing anything.
Absolutely.
I think having read the story, like James hasn't read the book yet. I've read it twice. We're going to read it later this year together. I think it even, like you were talking about, fits the tone of the book.
Mm. And from what I understand,
he's got like you're trying to.
Yeah, square peg, round hole kind of thing. Yeah. He, like, there's rumors floating around. Apparently, he's got 2 fight scenes. He's not in the movie a whole bunch. Apparently, it is a setup for something in the future, which I think is great.
Which I think is great, too. I think it's perfect. And I
want the story to focus, because it's a Ruthie story. It's not even a Supergirl story. The entire thing's narrated by Ruthie. It is a very true grit in space. But it really is Supergirl. She's like, dude, I don't know what I'm supposed to be. I was supposed to come here and look after my baby cousin, and he's grown up. He's already got a life. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I don't want to take away from that. Like, look, as much as I want to see my man in a movie, I don't want it to take away from that story. It's a beautiful story between them two, man. Like, it's a fantastic. It is dense. Like, Tom Kent, like, he wrote the hell out of that book. Like, it is dense. But it's an amazing story, man, with really emotional parts. So if he comes in and there's a battle and there's a fight at like a diner or a bar, or he comes back, or that's fine for me. I don't need him in the whole thing. And I'm saying that as a Lobo fan. I don't want him in the whole thing. I think beat some ass and split, and I think that's perfect for a lead-in.
Right. And I think that's what you do is you put him in this, you build interest, and then you do an R-rated film with Lobo because you've built this interest. But we talked about before about how some of these movies, you get characters that work in the story, but sometimes they feel like they're forced or they're and Lobo does not feel like him being part of this is going to be forced. It feels like it's going to be very organic for everything. So I am excited about that. And it's because nobody makes superhero movies anymore where just one superhero / character shows up. Like they have to have others. And I just think that this is going to work more. And I do find it interesting.
And people took umbrage with that too. Okay.
No, go ahead.
So people took umbrage with that too. Like Superman fans or just people wanting to start shit on the internet. They're like, they're already shitting on Superman. The dog's peeing on the picture. I was like, yeah, but did you read it was this whole thing about him and then her saving a cat. Like, that's why it's there. Because she left because she's like, I have no purpose here. It had nothing to do with Superman, dude. It had to do with, like, he's got this big spread and she's got this little column on the side. And that's what's feeding this depression from her, man. But again, people want to, man. Like, they want to be the first one to be like, what, this sucks. And
well, I mean, I explained to my mother-in-law, like, when Supergirl showed up, she was like, that's a little odd. I'm like, no. I'm like, it's okay. Because I was completely cool with it. Because I'm like, this is setting up her arc and her journey of who she has to become. Because I knew they were doing this film and I knew the book enough. But I was like, you got to do something where it starts to separate her from him.
Yeah.
And giving her somewhere to start to really find herself. I'm like, this is where we start. And like, I was in the theater, and when Lois and Superman are talking, and he says to her, she's like, do you have a dog? And he's like, it's more of a fostering situation. I was like, the only one was like, oh, I knew. Because I knew. I was like, and Jania, my wife's like, what? I'm like, it's not his dog. It's Supergirl's dog. And I wasn't even thinking of like the Woman of Tomorrow story. I'm just like, oh, it's because, and I was like getting excited. And
dude, I love that. I love that flick so much, dude. He's talking. He's like, I gotta go save this dog. He's like, he's not even that good of a dog. Like, I'm just like, yo, that is Superman, man. I love it. Like, I think Scott Snyder did a great job putting a superhero in a cynical world. And I immediately said, you can't put, this version of Superman in a world like we have now. And James Gunn pulled it off. It was great. He seems very out of place, and he's supposed to be. He's like, no, like, why can't I just say that to somebody? Like, he touches on that. I thought it was great.
I said to my friend before, like, if I ever shot a Superman film, one thing I would do visually is I would make the suit really, 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 really bright. And then when I put the filters in and the color grading, because I'd want the world to look darker, it would bring that ultra bright down to like the right tone of brightness that I want, because I would want him to stick out. And then in my design of the world, I would use a lot more earth tones and blacks and what I would do is, as the film progresses, you would start to see people changing the colors they wore in the streets.
So like a Pleasantville kind of thing. Remember that flick where everyone's white? And so then that's a great idea, man.
So the idea is
changing because of him, which is exactly what we need right now.
Because I would want him to I want, the whole point is he's supposed to, like you said, look, like he stands out and everything. And
which I said last year. I actually just was talking to Tyler about this a couple weeks ago. I rewatched Superman, and then I was just thinking, we got Superman and we got the Fantastic Four back in July. Last year was such a freaking wild and terrible year for lots and lots of reasons. And we got such a good and hopeful Superman film followed by a Fantastic Four film that was about this unity of humanity, of people working together, of family, of all people. Yeah, I was like, that was a great message for July. That was a great...
And that came right after finally having a superhero movie that you couldn't beat up something with fists, man. Dude, I cried again. Like, I'm a dad now. Like, I'm a little bit more sappy than normal. Dude, Thunderbolts had me, especially because I was in a dark place. So, like, I saw myself a lot. And then I'm like, first of all, you ain't beating him. So how they beat him was they had to love him. You know what I'm saying? I was like, God damn. Like, I
love Thunderbolt,
great direction.
too.
I thought that flick was awesome.
That was my was that my number
Thunderbolts,
3?
Superman, Fantastic Four, great stuff.
Thunderbolts was my number 3 movie, and I've been itching to rewatch it, but I want to rewatch it because it was me and my son that went, and my wife didn't go, and I told her, I said, I think you'll really like this, and I want to rewatch it, but I'm trying to get her to and everything, so I think she would really like it. But that was my number 3 movie from last year. Of course, Superman was my number 1. It was so
great because there was a bunch of people with no focus. Red Guardian's like, oh, I'm so filled, I'm so full, and he wasn't. Yelena didn't know what she had to do. Poor dude. I love the dude who plays U.S. agent. That's what's
Wyatt
his
Russell.
Son, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, the scenes with like him reading like all the slog that he's taking. He's not paying attention to his wife or kid. I'm like, oh my God, like they went emotional for that one. I loved it. It wasn't an action a minute. It had a lot of heart. And I was like, what a great way to kind of take us out of that, space fights and this fights and ruining New York City. Like there was a little bit of that, right? But it wasn't something that you could beat. Like you had to just understand it. And I was like, wow, they really went for it, man. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful flick. It was beautiful. It was definitely a good time for those 3 in a row.
For sure.
I feel like you see this swing in films, and especially in characters like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, the ones that have shown to stay around and be reinterpreted. Even James Bond, to a point, you see reflections of the times that they're coming out, and what they represent, and that's why I feel like there's no bad Superman. Like they're all a part of their time and what was needed.
Same thing, man. Like, look. And you know what? If you don't like one, don't read it.
Yeah.
You don't want to watch the movie. Guess what? You ain't got to watch it. No one's twisting your arm to go see the flick. Like I have a lot of problems with like the Bruce Wayne Batman of it all, especially because like fine, I understand you won't kill the Joker right out, but like when you fought Onomatopoeia, you could have just let him die. You won't even let him die either. So like my favorite Batman is Thomas Wayne. My favorite Joker is Martha Wayne. That story to me, I got a custom Martha Wayne Joker made because I was like, that story was horrifying. And he was like, no, I'm going to use guns and I'm going to take painkillers because I'm going to make sure these streets are safe. And I'm like, yeah, because every once in a while, if you get something that kind of goes stagnant, great writers on the book and everything, but every once in a while, you're like, I want a shift. And that's why the Absolute universe is crushing it right now. All those absolute Martian Manhunter is better than people are giving it credit for. It is on mushrooms. Like it is.
I have to go back and read it because I stopped. It was the one absolute title I stopped, but then I heard people saying it was really good, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. And
Flash is okay,
and you're not ruining anything, and no one can complain about continuity. And the way that Bruce's rogues gallery is created is Bane's like, no, I'm not going to break you. I'm going to break everyone around you. And you're like, God damn, like that was, and the Brainiac in Absolute Superman is horrifying.
Dude,
yes.
I was like, oh, that one that was just centered around him. I'm like, oh my God.
We
like,
just did that.
Home runs, dude. Home runs.
Talking about having another Brainiac remove his tongue because he doesn't have the right to speak anymore.
Talking to dead ones and stuff. He's out of his mind. I love that Brainiac. And is it because we've kind of seen the same one? Maybe. But now we have this version, and it's over here. And if you don't like it, you ain't got to read it. You can stay over here. But right now, this is hot right now. It's so dope. I don't know, man. I say it all the time. I'm like, I grew up in the right time. Because when we were growing up, I don't know, like I didn't get the nerd thing a lot reading comics. Like all the kids in my school kind of did. And we were all kind of rough and tumble and shit like that. So we didn't really put up with nothing. We just loved to read comics. And now I'm old enough to where I can like buy back, like, cause I collect Hot Toys and statues. Like, look at it back here, man. It's like, and I love it because I'm living right now in the time that I wanted as a kid. I'm seeing all my superhero heroes and villains like live. I'm like, this is awesome, man. I wouldn't want to live in any other time. This is perfect for me. I just got to plug my computer in. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. James, let me ask you this.
What's up?
We've been chatting with Justin. We'll look at, I think I have a little bit of news. We'll talk about this. Junkie XL could be replacing. I can never pronounce his name right, so I'm not going to try. For the score for Supergirl. Saw that rumor. How you feel about that?
I mean, I think he will have some of that edge that they're looking for. The way that they're making this a punker type movie, the way they're marketing it. I could see his music maybe fitting that aesthetic. Not quite sure about the composer from before, but we don't really have any music from it either. So
the composer,
I just hope it doesn't sound like, particularly like BVS or exactly like Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And that's my only fear is we get Junkie XL, and it's going to sound like similar to what we've heard from other things that he's done.
He's doing the music for Supergirl?
There's this thing going around saying that he's replacing the composer that we had. Now, the composer that we had for Supergirl, I cannot pronounce the name, but it's the same composer who did Iron Man, Pacific Rim. He did the music for Game of Thrones. And I really like his stuff on Pacific Rim. I like the first Iron Man, music-wise. I get tired when I see a lot of the same composers doing the same style type of projects and realize what difference can they bring.
Yeah, the dude is Ramin.
Yep.
Djawadi? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to try it.
Yeah, Djawadi, maybe.
Yeah.
So, yep.
It was weird. I like, because the dude Junkie XL also made club bangers and stuff like that. He's like a DJ.
Well, that's where the Junkie XL came from.
Yeah, because he's done other stuff under his other name. It doesn't really sound like that. I think the dude's talented. I think that it was weird. I love the one where she showed up there, dan. I'm like, that's dope. Then they put it in everything, and I was like, well, all right, I don't need this anymore. You know what I'm saying? They kind of played it out a little bit.
It's go back, listen to, so that's, listen to his version in BVS, then go listen to how Rupert Grex Williams did it in Wonder Woman, and then look how Hans Zimmer did it in Wonder Woman 84, and it's just kind of it's like diminishing return.
Yeah.
It's
Tom Holkenberg. God damn, that was going to bother me all day if I didn't.
Yeah, he did. Of course, he worked with Zack Snyder on. He worked with Hans Zimmer on Batman vs Superman. He did the entire thing for Zack Snyder's Justice League. He also did Army of the Dead and Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
And he also did the Amazing Spider-Man 2, Deadpool, and Godzilla vs Kong. So, I mean, when it comes to Amazing Spider-Man 2, there's a few things that's fantastic about Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is the visuals, the action, and a lot of the score. And honestly, that stands out more for me than the majority of Zack Snyder's Justice League score. And
that's the thing. The Zack Snyder's Justice League score, there is and I will granted that...
And I own it.
Well, I will say this. I know that a lot of the music that he had originally composed for that, he ended up using bits and pieces for other projects. Mm-hmm. So when he went back, he had some that he hadn't used, and then he had to kind of, I don't want to use the term filler, but make a little bit more filler type music because he couldn't use the music he had originally intended for it because he had already used that for something else.
Get this. He did Point Break. He was the composer on Point Break.
Really? The original?
I mean, unless IMDb is lying, he did Point Break.
The only other stuff I have news-wise, I'll run this by you guys. Deadline has confirmed that Isabella Merced will return as Hawk Girl for Man of Tomorrow.
Good.
So that's cool. I
like that, man.
I would like to see Terrific back, but at the same time, I would almost like to see Terrific get his own thing somewhere.
Dude, just the character of Michael Holt is dope. That dude, I just love.
Do you guys
Yeah, he just did a 5-6 issue run. It was awesome, man. It was great. It showed him at like his lowest point, and it was a great story, man. It was a great story.
And then the other thing that just came out today or yesterday is they're moving Clayface to October from its September, so they pushed it back a couple of weeks.
Which at first I was like, man, but it's supposed to be like a horror flick. I was like, I get down with that. I get down with that.
I'm fine with it either way, but my buddy Brian, it was coming out on his birthday weekend, so he was all pumped, and now it's not.
No.
So he's like, that was supposed to be my birthday.
I have two wishes. One I've had for a while. The other one I'm just like, please. One, I want to see Arnold Wesker in a movie, man. Like, I want to see that character, the ventriloquist, could be horrifying if you do it the right way. I don't know if you guys saw The Rule of Jenny Penn. Have you seen this flick? So it's John Lithgow is a nutcase, and he's in like an insane asylum, and he carries around this doll named Jenny Penn, and he makes like at night he tortures these people in his old folks' home, like he's making it like lick the doll's ass, and like but if you look at him, you're like, yo, that's the ventriloquist right there, man. I remember at one point, Psycho Pirate tried to take over the ventriloquist, and Arnold punches him in the face, and he's using just his hand, and he was like, he's already being controlled by somebody. I'm telling you, if you get him in the Battinson universe, I think it'll work. That's more of your terrestrial villains anyway, man. I want to see ventriloquist and Scarface in a movie. Bad. That's number one. Number two, I want Wonder Woman, because I was raised basically by a single mom. I love my female superheroes, right? Like, I love my heroines. Can you, for once, make Wonder Woman look like Wonder Woman? Can you make her a little bit taller, put some muscle on her? Because when she was in the Wonder Woman flick, all the people in the background, they were all power lifters and CrossFitters. They were shit out. And then you got this one coming up that like a stiff wind can blow her over. I'm like, I understand she's pretty and everything, but like, if you're going to have Wonder Woman, who's supposed to be like 6'4", 6'5", give me like someone like that. Before she got in trouble, I'm like, yo, Gina Carano, that would be a Wonder Woman right there. Yeah. She's a mixed martial arts fighter. She's big. She's dominating. Give me that. Stop going for like, I don't need a wafy, sexy Wonder Woman. I don't. I want like an intimidating, larger than life woman. That's what we're supposed to get.
Dude, I'm right there with you because I said this, and this is I said this because I'm not being sexist, okay? But I want to frame it like this: you get Henry Cavill, who's already fit, but you make him get super jacked because he's Superman. Well, in the comics and in the character himself,
I'm let you tell him
he doesn't have to be jacked because his body just naturally has strength. So you are going to tell me you want him to look like Superman. Okay, cool. I got you. All right. Go watch the Fast and the Furious 5 and see how super thin she was. And then, like, when you look at her when she shows up as Wonder Woman, yes, she put on some muscle and she got in shape compared to what she was, but she still does not look like Wonder Woman. And I'm not being sexist because if you're making the man do it, the woman, you both want to do, because I'm with you. I want Wonder Woman to look as attractive, but also as fierce. And I see a lot of these fans with people that they throw out as Wonder Woman, and I'm like, she's too small.
Yeah.
She, even if she does hit the gym and all that stuff, great. She's not going to be able to bulk up, just like you were talking about people complaining about Lobo should be bigger or whatever. Like, Wonder Woman should.
Not everyone's 6'5" Andrew who weighs like 285 pounds. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a cosplayer who dresses up like Wonder Woman, and she's jacked. I'm like, I don't know how tall she is, but
she's a weightlifter because I know exactly what you're talking about. She
looks great.
She's solid, and it's not a sexist thing because I have my son's mom, huge Wonder Woman fan. She doesn't like. She's not a comic person. Loves Wonder Woman, right? And she's like, wait a minute. She's like, why is it like a bad word to be an in-shape woman. She's like, why is she playing Wonder Woman? Like, shouldn't Wonder Woman be like, she doesn't know the comics, but she loves character. She's like, shouldn't she be like built like me? Because my son's mom is Jack, man. She's Jack. She's been lifting forever. And she's like, wait a minute. Why are people complaining about she's too thin? A bunch of the in-shape women I know were like, yo, why doesn't she look more like us? Like, shouldn't she be
like the rest of the Amazons are looking?
Yeah, man. I was like, it's not even a sexist thing. It's like you want to see the characters that you know and love reflected, right?
Yeah.
And, every once in a while you change the race of somebody, like, all right, that's fine, right? Like, as long as you stick within the continuity means, or if it's an alternate world, like, I want to see Val Zod on screen so bad. I love that Superman. I love Val Zod. I love that story. I love it. It's awesome. You have all of these awesome superheroes from different places that now you can have without having to be like, let's change this part. They're out there.
Yes.
Just pick one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could loop them up, but like every Wonder Woman is they're like, that's why I love Absolute Wonder Woman. Absolute Wonder Woman standing next to Steve Trevor is like me standing next to my son. She is big and she don't take no shit. She's still very kind, but my ideal Wonder Woman is when she goes off a little bit. Like at one point, she's got these like terrorists, and like she's got the one guy down. He's like, you're a superhero, you can't kill. She's like, you got the wrong superhero, and like just rips this dude apart. I love that version because at her core, she's an Amazon, she's a fighter, and she's a warrior, and she's God made, right?
Yeah.
She don't want to be on lunchboxes. She will be on lunchboxes, but you see her go unhinged when, like, in Injustice, as soon as she has a reason to be a fierce army leader, she's taking it. She's taking it. And, like, that's like, give us that. Like, why does she have to, like, I'm not saying she shouldn't have to be pretty. I got bodybuilder friends who are gorgeous, but they go to the gym. And it's just like you said, in Fast and the Furious, she was very, very skinny. Oh, and I know that Zack Snyder worked out with the entire cast. They were always in the gym. But Henry Cavill's eating 6,000 carbs a day to look like Superman. Why couldn't she bulk up a little bit more? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, oh, that's sexy. Like, it's not. I want her to look like the character's supposed to look. I want her to be a little bit bigger and a little bit taller. That's it.
Wonder Woman from DC, The New Frontier, standing over top Superman, big.
Right.
And see, I was about to say, it's like, okay,
disarming all the men and giving the weapons to the ladies. She didn't kill them, but she definitely set it up.
Is fit. Like, he got into shape.
Yeah.
Okay, and I say that because he talked about bulking up. He bulked up. His suit doesn't really show it. Go look at David Cornsweet in there's a movie on Hulu. I can't think of it. It just came out like a year or so ago. Or that TV show Hollywood on Netflix. He was super thin and small.
Yeah.
And like he bulked up. So, and I think he's in a good size bracket for Superman. With what James was saying, give me a Wonder Woman now that's a little bit bigger than him.
That's right.
Okay.
Dude, best on-screen Superwoman. The best on-screen Wonder Woman was from Super Pets. Remember how she looked in that? She was taller than everybody. She was big as hell. Like, I'm like, okay, now make that real. Because that's what she's supposed to look like. And like, oh, well, it's an impossible body standard. Like, look, man, some people work out and they want to see that. Like, it's not about, she's a warrior through and through. She's supposed to look like a warrior. And then you got her in the Wonder Woman movie standing next to these brick shit house. These women were loaded for war. And you're like, why isn't it her? I don't know, man. It bothered me as a lifter and as someone who's like, why can't she be?
Have all these amazing.
Yeah, the special feature behind the scenes of all the women training to be Amazons is one of the best parts of the whole setup. I mean, great movie. Great Wonder Woman's a great movie, but one of the better ones in the whole DCEU. But that special feature was like great.
What was that one chick that swings the hammer and knocks out that pillar? I was like, oh my God, be still.
Yeah, that's Brooke. I'm pretty sure that's Brooke Entz. She was a CrossFitter. She's not. She doesn't do that now, but she does other fitness stuff.
Yeah,
she no longer competes in the CrossFit Games.
Like that, or like the Odin's daughter girl. That's what I want to see. Give her brown hair, put a sword in her hand, make her be fearsome, but also kind. You can do that without being like why does she have to be wafy? Like, what's up with that? Like,
Yeah.
she can eat a sandwich. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want and again, you're picking a person because her star was really high at the time, right? She did go to the gym. I'm not taking that away from her. But somebody in the casting thing was like, well, don't get too big. You know they said that, or else she would have put on the weight for it. I'm fully convinced that she would have did it, but nobody did the transformation that Christian Bale went from the machinist, guys, to Batman Begins. He lost all that weight in real life. His doctor was like, you are going to die. And all of a sudden he shows up, 65 pounds heavier? Solid. Well,
he showed up too big for Batman. That then he had to lose some of the weight because he was too big. He had gained too much.
To gain that much weight in the amount of time that he did, he had to gain a lot of fat too, which is why he looks a little soft in the shirtless scenes around the League of Shadows training and stuff. But
it works for me.
He did get cut up again.
But I don't see Bruce at that time in the life the way they depicted him being like he'd be like in good enough shape.
Yeah.
You know, because
he'd be a little round. He'd be a little bloated. He's not traveling the world with a private chef. You know what I'm saying? He's eating.
Right. He's not in that mindset yet. Like we're so used to in comics that Bruce Wayne commits when he's a child to be Batman. This Bruce Wayne didn't commit to Batman until he's in his late 20s. You know what I'm saying? So like him, he's not really take care of himself and everything. Like, and then once he does commit, then the transformation happens. But I think Gunn has done a really great job with DC as far as the casting goes of finding people that fit the characters that are, hey, I know that guy. I've seen this actor. Oh, that's a good pair too. Movie star. You know? Yeah. So I'm excited for the idea of Wonder Woman because I think we might get something that's going to surprise us, or maybe not surprise us as much as it will surprise the general audience. Yeah. More than anything else. I mean, everything we've seen live action from DC right now, under Gunn's tutelage, the biggest movie star probably is Jason Momoa. Yeah. And then second would be Nicholas Hoult. But even that,
and Nathan Fillion, because he's been in a bunch of stuff, but they're not taking the guy. You know what I'm saying? They're not taking the guy. They're taking people that are built for the character, which I love.
And I'm excited to see more of. So we'll go ahead and wrap up here, boys. We could keep going forever. I know we could. Justin,
this is a lot of. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I just looked up. I'm like, damn, I kept them on for an hour and 30 minutes.
No. My goal is always at least an hour, a little bit more, is fine. I don't care. I just don't want to take up everybody's time, and especially when I know, all right, we could go on a tangent here. We could keep going here. We could keep going here. But tell people where they can find you for your cosplay.
So it's at Real Life Lobo, which honestly, just quick story about that. When I showed up for Biz came out from behind the thing. He signed my blaster. He just kept signing stuff. And as he walked away, he goes, "That's the Real Life Lobo." And I'm like, he don't even know my handle, man. I'm like, I could die happy. That was it. So it's,
that's awesome.
That's the best.
It's at Real Life Lobo. I'll bore you. It's pictures of my dog and my kid and me going to the gym. But in case you want to follow me, I'll go over there.
That's awesome. Then, of course, you know where to find us here. And check out our cover art for this episode. I put a picture of Justin in his cosplay.
I'm in there, man. I'm in with the league. I love it.
It's blended in, so you're like, wait, which one's him? Which one's what?
I'm honored, dude. That's a great shot.
Confuse him with Jason Momoa's Lobo.
Well, just like the cosplayer, is it Lisa Wonder? I seen people do those news articles online. They actually pulled pictures of her cosplay for Supergirl, for the Sasha Calais Supergirl. And people in the comments that's not the actress, that's this cosplayer. And it was funny.
Listen, I wish I got confused like that, but I don't think it's going to happen.
So check us out. Let us know your thoughts on Lobo. How's the character strike you? We're going to have Justin on again at some point in time. We'll figure out where to get him in on.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I'd be honored. Honestly, this is This is the most fun I've had in a while. You guys are great, man. Like, this is awesome conversation. I had a blast. I will definitely come back and do this again.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's what we like to hear. You know,
yes, sir.
After Tyler hits the gym, it's like, well, guys, I broke my back, broke my arm, and paralyzed now. So,
no, it's not. Come on, man, you just got excited about going back. Don't talk about getting paralyzed now.
But just check in. Let us know your gym journeys, dear listeners. And
look up in the sky.
Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane, enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.